guys, welcome to another episode of Murphy's Law. First off, I just wanted to give you guys an update about the channel because I've made some decisions recently that I think you guys should know about. First off, I'm going to stop showing pickups for stuff that I buy for inventory for my store. I feel like it is a little bit pretentious, maybe. I don't know if that's the right word. But it's just, I don't think it's good for the show. It's stuff I'm not going to be keeping, so there's really no point in me showing it to you. So that's out. For now on, I'll be showing you stuff that I'm keeping only, and that's it. Secondly, I'm going to stop talking about values of games. I'm realizing that the prices in games are really spiking, and I think that us YouTubers might have a little bit of something to do with it. Excuse my cat there. No, kitty, you cannot be in front of the computer. I think us YouTubers might have something to do with that. A lot of us, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think a lot of us talk about the value. Say, hey, look at this game. I got this. I was about to pull out one of my pickup games. I got this game for $5, but it's really worth like $300. And then people flip out and things spike. So I'm not going to mention values at all. I'm not going to mention what I bought things for. I'm just going to show you the cool games that I got that I'm keeping. If you want to contact me and ask me questions about values of games and, game hunting tips through PM and stuff, I don't have a problem doing that. I don't have a problem talking to you, giving you guys a little bit of advice. But for the purposes of the videos, not going to do it. Not going to talk about game values and stuff like that. Just, it doesn't need to be part of the video. So, moving forward, just games that I got that I'm going to be keeping. No values mentioned. I will say if it's a really good deal, like, oh, I got a really good deal on this, but I'm not going to really specifically talk about whether or not what I paid for it. So that's it. Moving on. I think I'm also going to dump the intro I've been using and instead do like a 30-second block of music for Mostly Remix. They're a great website where a bunch of people provide free music for you guys to download. It's all remix music of video games. They've got everything from like Mega Man Rock to Mario Brothers Symphony. So there's massive amounts of genres and massive amounts of mixes for anybody who's into anything can check out. And so I think that'll be a nice little way to introduce the show and then also give you guys something else to check out. And since the music is free to download and free to use, won't be breaking any copyright laws and give them a little bit more exposure. So without any further ado, now that I've addressed those issues, let's move on with some pickups because I've got some great ones today. I originally filmed this video as an unboxing video because a lot of this stuff is from trade packages, but my microphone went out and the sound didn't record, so sorry for anybody who tried to watch that video because I did have it posted for like an hour or so and someone's like, yo bro, no sound. I'm like, shit. So no sound. So let's just jump right into it. I've got a few common Super Nintendo games to start with. First we have Captain America and the Avengers. This is a port of the arcade game. Very, very fun beat 'em up where you get to play as the Avengers. Absolutely love it. Copy of Vector Man and Vector Man 2. Great side-scrolling platformers, shooter kind of deals going on with those games. Absolutely love them. If you don't own them, if you've never played them, you got to hunt these games down because they're really, really fun. Next up is a game I've actually never played before, Super Godzilla. This one is like half fighter, half strategy. You move Godzilla through a map. He's kind of represented by a little dot in between a bunch of buildings. And then up there, up on the top half of the screen is a picture of him like walking through the buildings. If you run into a building, he kind of like destroys it. And then at the end of each map, you fight a monster from the movies. So that game's kind of fun. A little bit odd, a little bit different. Takes a little bit of getting used to, but very, very fun. Next is Breakthrough for the Nintendo. Again, a game I haven't played and I haven't had a chance to test this one out. This actually came from a trade, and originally I was thinking of Breakout or whatever the alternate name for Arkanoid is. So that's why I asked for this one. I got the name wrong, my bad, but this is made by Data East. They made some pretty good games. It looks like it involves a tank or something. Yeah, I don't know. So I've never actually played this one. If you guys have played this one, let me know about it in the comments. I'll be giving that a shot eventually. And then next up, the last part, all that stuff was from the same trade. The last part is Tetris Plus for the PlayStation. It is complete. This game, I've been playing this for a while now. This game is super fun. This is one I needed to cross off my list for my Tetris collection. And one of these upcoming videos, I'll do an update for it, and I'll show you all the games that I've picked up Tetris-wise so far. There's still a couple common ones that I'm missing, like Tetris Attack for the Super Nintendo, but it's coming along very nicely. So very happy to have this one. Has an interesting build a puzzle mode where you can set your own Tetris blocks, and the campaign, quote unquote, is a bunch of different puzzles, and it's very fun and different as far as Tetris games go. Next up, I got a couple of 64 games. First is Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards, one I've been looking for a while. This game is fantastic. It's Kirby. It's got a little bit of 3D to it, but it's one of the 64's better games in my opinion. And then next we have Mario Golf, which is really, really fun. I love the Mario Golf games. I already had the one for GameCube. It's very, very fun. One of the few sports games I actually enjoy. So with those out of the way, we'll move on to some GameCube games. I've been trying to beef up my GameCube collection recently. So I can't remember if I did this in the last pickup video or not, so if I did, please forgive me, but I got Super Mario Sunshine. It is complete. This is a very, very fun game, despite what all the critics said. A lot of the people were like, that ain't no Mario 64, but I really enjoyed it. I think the Yoshis and the water jetpack on it is a nice touch. And to me, it's really, really fun. And then I brought some collectibles that I didn't care for anymore to a collectible video game store. Traded those in, it was just one thing. Traded in for some credit, and I picked up Custom Robo, and I've still got some credit sitting in the store. This is complete. There's the receipt. There's the receipt. This is a very fun game. Really, really cool. You get to build custom robots. Think it's kind of like Virtual On, if anybody remembers that. It's an arena fighter, and you can build your different robots, and they all have different parts, and you can compete against other players. Very, very fun. Kind of Smash Brothers-y, I kind of guess. Next up is Wario World, and that game is complete. I'm at the point in my collecting where I have almost everything that I was getting when I originally started out. If you watched it in my earlier videos, you know that originally I was going after just games that I played as a kid or that I enjoy playing. So now, at the point in my collecting, I've been at this for 2 years. I've been making videos for about a year now. I'm just going after games that are cheap and fun that I haven't had a chance to experience. So this one got some pretty good reviews. It looks like a Mario 64 starring Wario, so I'm interested to give this a shot. I've never played it before. It wasn't too expensive. It's kind of a common game, so I picked that up to give that a shot. And then last for the GameCube pickups, and this one I got in a trade. It's one that's been on the top of my list for a while, again because I never played it, but it's a little bit pricey. So I had to wait for the opportunity to rise. So I traded off some Nintendo games that I picked up originally to sell, and got this for myself. It's Twilight Princess on GameCube. This is the original version. The Wii version is a port, as far as my knowledge is concerned, that's complete. And I've heard and read that this is the better version, and so if you're going to play the game, play it on this, but it's a pretty pricey game. Hello, kitty. It's a pretty pricey game, so I've been hesitant to just buy it, so I was able to trade for it, and that made me pretty happy. Now, the next two games I got are kinda Grails for me. This first one I'm going to show you is something that I've been after just because the game means a lot to me. If you've ever watched any of my other videos, you know I'm not a huge box collector, but this one is one I've wanted in box for a while. It's Super Mario Bros. 3. This is probably my favorite game of all time. It is complete. We have game, Nintendo dust sleeve, and instruction manual. The instruction manual is in fairly decent condition. A little bit of tears, and the back is kind of dog-eared, but the inside is pretty flawless, no marker or anything. So really happy about that. It does have the styrofoam. I'm not going to take that out because that is a pain in the butt. Box condition, it's a little rough. I mean, there's some fraying around the edges, a little bit of tears, a few dents, nothing that you wouldn't see from any normal wear. I mean, unless it's been in collector's position. Oh, and that tab just broke completely off. So it is missing that tab, or is already missing and I didn't pay attention. Either way, it displays pretty nice. It's not horrible, and now the styrofoam's giving me issues. Told you these were a pain in the ass. Alright, sorry about that. So again, I'm happy to have this. I need to pick up a plastic box protector for it over at videogameboxprotectors.com or boxprotectors.com. I'm not sure. I'll put a link to it in the description because they provide great products. So happy to have that to display it and to play it, of course. I mean, I already had a copy of the game, so I'll be adding that to my store's inventory and keeping this one for myself. Really, really happy to have this. Got it at a pretty good price from a friend. And that came as a bundle package with this next game I'm going to show you. Now, this game is special enough to keep into a plastic container. Fortunately, dust sleeve doesn't fit on here, but it is, but the container is enough to keep it protected. Very, very happy to have this. I didn't get an amazing deal on this. I paid just about retail, but it was kind of a late Christmas present to myself from my wife. I told her, I was like, hey, I have an opportunity to buy this game. I really, really want it. Can we work it out? And she worked it out for me as a gift. So I'm very, very happy to have DuckTales 2. This is one of the harder Disney Capcom games for Nintendo to find. The other being Rescue Rangers 2. I have almost all of them now except for Rescue Rangers 2 and Darkwing Duck. Darkwing Duck is a mid-uncommon game. Rescue Rangers 2 is a rare game. But I'm very, very happy to have DuckTales 2. I played it. It is pretty fun. It's not as fun as the first one, but that could be because of the nostalgia value. It does have some mechanics that are added to the game. You can use your cane to do other things besides bounce, like there's some switches that you can pogo, and they add some new mechanics. The music is fantastic as the first one, but like I said, the first one has more nostalgia for a lot of people, so I'm sure that the first one is going to be a lot more fun in other people's. This is kind of just to collect. I know. I'm kind of hypocriticaling myself, but I really wanted all the Disney Capcom games. And like I said, this one is fun. It's just not as fun as the first one. I enjoyed it. I don't know if, unless you're a collector, like collecting to collect, I don't know if you should pay for what this costs. As it's one of those games that's kind of inflated, so I'm going to put this back in the case here. But I'm very, very happy to have that. I need to get a clearer case. This one's kind of yellow to display it, but DuckTales 2 off my list. And then last thing I got was, I know, DuckTales 2. Now you're going to follow up with this. Super Nintendo game holder. Picked up a Nintendo 64 lot, and they were in here, but as you can tell by the logo, it is clearly a Super Nintendo game holder. So I'll clean that out and probably use that if I ever transport my games. And yeah, that's it for this episode of Murphy's Law. Like I said, I'm going to be focusing more on pickups that I picked up for myself. I won't be showing the stuff I got for store inventory. If you're curious about that, go like the Facebook page, facebook.com/Murph's Game Rehab. Sell my stuff as cheap as I can, including shipping. So check it out if you're looking for some common stuff, if you're just getting into collecting. Besides that, as always, fight evil, play video games.